Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another edition of Money in Motion. CJ here, as always, joined with Monte. It is Friday, September 15th. Market's down quite a bit today, so excited to go over that. Had the equity put call ratio spiking earlier in the week, a little bit of fear back into the market, so excited to go over all of that and much more. Hello, everyone, and good morning, good evening, wherever you are in the world. As Monte flashes your names up on
Yes,
the screen. Appreciate all of the participation early this morning. But Monty, morning. How you doing? What's going on, my friend?
doing well, doing well. We made it through another week. Am I right? And we talked a lot of this week about the P word, patience. I feel like we said it maybe 1,000 times this week, but Bitcoin pulling back a little bit today, pulling back about 0.5%. What's really going to be that test for me, and I've been pounding the table on this all week about how, if we can maintain that critical 26.2 level and bounce from there, that would make me mega bullish. But for the time being, right now, it looks like we're approaching that level pretty quickly. So I'll dive into that and some more. Of course, I want to talk about equities. And then, of course, for Richard and Ryan, we got to knock out the good old Yukon Cornelius silver and gold trades, which I know you have been watching really closely over the last couple of weeks here. So, anything in particular you'd like to start with?
Yeah, I guess I'll start with the most bullish thing because I think we need something like that
Yes,
for today.
please, please.
Just give me a second here.
Sure thing.
Okay.
I'm curious. Oh yeah,
So
that's what I
this
thought.
this chart is I saw this in the CMR Discord, but Shapiro went and shared this yesterday, and I think this is very indicative of large specs and the exposure levels that they've had throughout. I know, if you could call this like 2013 or 2020 or 2023 and 2022. So the last time we had levels like this in terms of exposure with hedge funds, I know people who were even bullish at like the start of, like, Ritholtz was very bullish at the start of 2023. They did a really nice job riding this trend up
Yeah,
for their clients, and now they've actually they're usually always neutral bullish. This has been like the first month where they've actually been bearish. So we'll see if that kind of continues, but that's been reflected as well in a lot of the hedge fund exposures. People are really selling into it, similar levels of when we saw the equity put call ratio spiking in the local bottom of September of 2022. Doesn't mean we can't go down for a little bit more, but it's definitely a reflection of sentiment within the market. And then you still do have, I mean, this is from yesterday, still have relatively high levels of put call ratios, but I'll be interested to see how that closes today, especially if the equity market continues to sell off. And, we have the NASDAQ down here over 1%. So, yeah, we'll see. Things are interesting because technically you could make the argument that, this is a bearish lower high, but I think after watching things like the Coco chart, like, that was one chart that at one point had many lower highs that just continued to go higher. But yeah, we'll see. But I thought that it's very interesting and indicative of like smart money sentiment or just large player sentiment.
yeah. We've been talking a lot about that. Right? Is like so many funds missed out on basically 99% of this move so far in 2023. Like everyone was mega bearish coming in. Think back to the start of the year. It's actually kind of funny now that it's crazy we're already in September, really. Like that's crazy to think about. But think back to the start of the year, right? And like where we were at and what everyone was saying. Everyone's like, "Oh my god, the markets are looking the worst they've ever been. The economy is horrible. We're going to go into, new lows here. This is like awful." And then the market started to cover some shorts, and it kept covering shorts, and it kept climbing upwards. and not many people had exposure to that upwards trend. Like you said,
And inflation came down a lot faster than
yeah,
people thought it was
exactly.
going to.
Yeah,
That was
so
another part of it.
it definitely caught a lot of people off guard. And as a result, not a whole lot of people got exposure to that move. So I think there's still so many funds. There are thousands of funds that operate in the range of like, you know, 1 million AUM to 10 million AUM. And then you have, you know, hundreds of funds that operate beyond that realm. I feel they are very underexposed right now to the upside, and I've felt that way for a long time. If we are going to get a continuation of upside price action, they haven't injected their capital into this market yet, and I think that's evident from the chart you just showed, which makes me even more bullish on Coinbase than I already am. I think it's showing signs of. I mean, today, of course, it's pulling back with equity markets, but you know I do think there's a chance that Bitcoin shows signs of positive price action today, um, and continues that into the weekend. And thus we see Coinbase open up on Monday and funds kind of scramble in to get exposure to Bitcoin's move up to that 30K level. So if that is a possibility, let me pull up the Bitcoin chart real quick because I just want to reiterate like kind of what exactly I'm looking at. Switch to the 4-hour here.
I mean, if you were just look at one chart or to show me one chart and it was that one of the hedge funds under exposure, like that really makes you want to get irresponsibly long. We haven't heard those
Yeah,
words
right.
in a
That's a
while, have
term
we?
I haven't heard in a while. Wow.
It's going back to 2021.
Yeah.
You thought you were
Seriously.
cool telling your friends, "Yeah, bro, I'm irresponsibly long." I had some people tell me that. Don't you remember?
Oh
that?
yeah. Oh yeah. I was irresponsibly long at many points. But I've grown since then. I like to think I'm a more
Yeah. You'd like to think that.
That's true. As I tell you, I'm going to the casino later today. But yeah, I am actually going to the casino. Let me know what games you guys like to play. And maybe I'll get lucky. But looking at this Bitcoin chart, I think it's clear, right? And I've been saying it all week. This level here, 26.25, like getting above or below this level was what I had defined as a critical move this week. And we did get the move above it, but now of course today we're pulling back, retesting this level. What's going to be really important, I think, is whether or not we break down below this level or not. As you can see in the past, clearly there's been strong distribution above this level. Now I want to see if there's strong accumulation below this level. If we do see, some wicks down below this level, that's okay. Like if we see something like that, that's okay because that's indicative of accumulation below 26.2. And that's something that I'd want to see heading into next week. It would make me bullish on Bitcoin heading into next week. I think then now these are switching from wicks to candles. We could plausibly see, a bullish engulfing, and then, from there, some continuation of the upside, perhaps up to this level here, 28K, or plausibly even higher, 29.5, if we get people trying to shorts. USC now says craps roulette. You're a man to my heart. Those are literally the games that I play when I go. And blackjack. Those are the pretty much only 3 games. Sometimes I play slots, not that anyone cares, but sometimes I do play slots because it's exciting when you get that big win. But that's like trading with 100x leverage. Blackjack is more like trading with like 1x leverage, because it's like 49% chance. But anyways, enough about my casino trip later today. I'll keep you guys posted. You'll probably be able to tell by my mood on Monday whether or not I won or lost. But for Bitcoin, I think 26.25 is that critical level. And if we maintain that level today in the face of a weak equity market, I think that would be very, very important heading into the weekend and would make me, bullish heading into the weekend. And one more time, like I said, even if we dip below that level, as long as it's just wicks, I find that bullish because that's, like I said, indicative of accumulation. And
Sweeping the lows.
yes, as our good friend Nick would say, sweeping the lows.
I'm gonna get him a broom or something. Or we need to put a broom next to his name in Discord.
Every time he says it, we
That's
do
his
a
trademark.
no, we should get a little animation. Every time he says sweeping the lows, like a little broom comes up and like sweeps. That'd be actually really good. That's a good idea.
All right, I'll be working on that this weekend. Productive,
okay,
productive stuff.
That's what CJ will be doing. But yeah, so that's what I'm seeing for Bitcoin, and that's like those are my thoughts heading into the weekend. I just wanted to give you guys some context. I think the altcoin market, what's surprising today though is ETH is actually holding up a little bit better than Bitcoin. That is surprising to me, and altcoins actually, a lot of them are actually green today. Despite a red Bitcoin. I think that also is indicative of the fact that there are a lot of people trying to short the alts, anticipating weakness in the equity markets.
Yeah, what do you make of the fact that we actually have some alts that are up with Bitcoin being down?
It's very, very odd behavior.
The shorts have just milked this market so dry that it's like price just won't go down when it should. And you would think, you tell me the S&P and NASDAQ are down over 1%. Why would DOT be up 1%? Like, you know what I'm saying?
I know.
So,
it's you're right. It's the shorts, and there's nothing you can do about it, really. I mean, like even today, like trading in the Bitcoin pair, like we talked about yesterday, right, wouldn't be that favorable because you're seeing such outperformance from these altcoins. But regardless, I still think they will pull back if Bitcoin continues to pull back. But the fact that these alts haven't flipped red in the day tells me that people are still remaining in their longs, with the kind of same thesis that I probably have, in the sense that, 26.2, highly critical level. We bounce from there, go higher, and you're sitting pretty in your altcoin position. And and if
you ever hear that,
what?
Never. Sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, yeah, and I do agree with you. I see now odd, but likely to not to last. They always bleed eventually, and they bleed harder than Bitcoin. I think we saw that pretty evident from the dot chart yesterday. So yeah, we're pulling back today, but I'm still bullish. And CJ, I actually really like coin because if Bitcoin has a positive weekend, which I think it might, if we get a bounce from that 26.2 level, and I'm going to be watching closely today because if it does, I'm going to add to my Coinbase position. I had talked about how I had bought some stock on the back of your trade recommendation that you posted in the Discord. But if we see Bitcoin bounce from that level today, I think coin is definitely worth a shot as we head into the weekend and open up on Monday. You might be in for some interim pain on Monday. You know how Mondays can be, a little bit of a pullback, but turnaround Tuesday, I think you could see some really positive price action out of coins. So I've been rambling for quite a while. I want to pass it back to you because I know you have a lot to cover, including the good old silver and gold, the Yukon Cornelius trade.
Yeah, I hadn't actually looked at them this morning until that was put in the chat. But yeah, really, really nice move on the back of dollar kind of stalling a bit.
Yeah, really nice move.
I think today is the day. I mean, what do you think?
Okay.
We've heard that before.
Yeah, I know. Can someone audit? Can someone do an audit and go back this week and see how many times he said, "I think this is the day for heating oil"? No offense, not to call you out, but yeah, I feel like this
Look,
chart.
I mean, a lot of times, like if you'd have a bearish candle close at the top of the uptrend and you just short it that day, I was in profit a lot of the times in these earlier positions, but then they just come back to break even, and you close and you don't really lose anything. And yeah, many times I've thought this was like the time, but that's a lot of. We'll see. It just feels like literally everyone on Fade Money is talking about oil and energy, and it's just really starting to get to me. And I'm starting to get more of a itchy trigger finger when it comes to heating oil. But I guess we return to the P word that you mentioned at the start of the show. Anyways, DXY. All right, DXY coming down a bit. Gold squeezing. Is there any news today on gold?
Not that I'm aware of. Yeah, what do you attribute the strength to from the precious metals?
Just give me a sec here. I mean, there were still a decent amount of shorts in gold.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, yeah, and looks like
So there's a couple different I've been looking more in terms of like COT and indicators. I started with this one, which is a little bit more faster. It's just the commercial oscillator, and then we looked at like the oscillator for large specs as well as retail. And this one's a little bit slower. This one moves a little faster for the commercials, so it's a little bit of a different reading.
right.
And some of the trades it will actually catch, whereas the slower one won't. But here, pretty nice buy signal, back in like early or like late August. I mean, the positioning isn't really there for me to take a long here. I've been looking at Russell and NASDAQ and kind of other ideas, but I think gold is very interesting closing up today, especially with risk down. Like that's a very, very notable correlation failure that we don't typically see. Silver's probably neutral. Yep. From a pure technical, go ahead.
I know it's a tough question to answer, but like, do you remember the last time we've had a correlation failure like this with the precious metals, where we've seen them up to this degree and equity markets down? I genuinely don't remember when the last time we saw this sort of price action is.
Probably around some type of CPI event or some type
that's
of.
true. Yeah.
Because you're right. I can't remember on an intraday basis either.
Yeah.
They have good defined risk. I mean, I can't really take them in that system, but if I was trading an account just based on technical analysis, we're at the bottom of a range, starting to bounce. Looks like we could go back to the top of the range. I mean, and that's the other thing that that I like to consider is like, are we in a trending market? Everyone tried to short this triple top, or still kind of are, right, which is interesting. I'm neutral bullish gold. I think there's a case to be made for the bull side here. Although I'm not actively trading gold, I do think there's a bull case to be made for sure. Yeah, that's about it for me in terms of COT setups.
Look at these gamblers in the chat sharing their strategies for roulette. I love it. You guys are awesome. I'm definitely
22 black. Where'd you come up with that one?
22 black. It's burned me in the past, but actually CJ and I have been to Vegas many times for conferences and whatnot, and we sit down at the roulette table. We play a little roulette.
And, first time I sat down, what did they roll, like 4 reds in a row, and I bet black every time.
Yeah,
Even the guy spinning the wheel was like,
yeah,
"Damn, that was some bad luck."
he's like, wow, he's like, geez, I actually feel bad for you. He's like, I haven't seen that in I don't think ever. And that was your first gambling experience. It's probably for the best, to be honest. You don't want your first experience to be like a big win, because then you get hooked. So it's probably for the best. Probably for the best. But anyways, all I gotta say as we're wrapping up here. Oh, you live in Vegas. That makes sense. So you're a shark. I'm gonna definitely take that advice. Never bet against the trend. Wiser words have never been said, my friend.
Red, it's hot.
Look at this comment. So you martingale 22 forever until you win. I love it. That is I mean, I could sit there all day and do that, and I would probably walk out broke, but it's martingaling. It's a strategy, at least. So yeah. But all I want to say is thank you guys so much for all your participation and everyone that watched today. I noticed we had a lot of new names in chat, lots of viewers. Please like and subscribe. It really helps out this channel a lot. Gets more people in the chat, and it's always more fun with more people participating. Like today, I love hearing what you guys got to say. I love hearing from you and answering your questions. So really, really, truly, I thank you for your participation in chat. It makes these episodes a lot more fun to do, and I think also a lot more informative as well, because knowing what you guys are looking at, knowing what you guys want to be analyzed actually gives us some insight as well. So really, really appreciate you guys. But CJ, I'll leave you with the final word.
Yeah, I mean, I need more roulette alpha, so please keep it coming. Yeah, we'll keep it going. Appreciate it, everyone. Hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy the time off, recharge, because I think it might be a big week next week.
Yes, definitely. But, have a great weekend, everyone. Enjoy, relax, get some rest, be ready for a big week next week, because I think we could definitely see one. But